guys, The Curious Owl here, and today I have another Top 5 Wednesday for you guys. This is centering around redemption arcs. Now, the idea of the redemption arc is that usually a villainous character has essentially this story go on throughout a book or series, and something happens to them that basically makes them seem not all bad, or essentially gives them some kind of redemption within the story to make them seem like a better character than they were previously. Now, for this, I realized that I don't have a lot of series that I feel like have a great redemption arc in terms of there being villainous characters that have turned around at some point. But I do have 4 different series that I can think of that have great redemption arcs, either starting or have been completed and have really good redemption arcs that I truly have loved and will continue to love for the test of time. Coming in at number 4 for me is the character Oliver from the Morganville Vampire series by Rachel Kane. Now, Oliver doesn't really have a true, I would say, redemption arc throughout the series, but he does change in a lot of ways. He kind of goes from this really jerk of a guy to actually being halfway decent, and a lot of that is because he has these preconceived notions of humans as he's a vampire and only sees them for what they are, which is property. And throughout the series, though, you start to get to know him more, and you start to see that he just has, a bad rap. He's not that bad of a guy, but he's kind of a jerk, and you kind of see him, though, start to become a little bit less hard around the edges. He starts to soften up a little bit as you get towards the end of the series. Coming in at number 3 is one of my most beloved characters, despite how evil she truly is throughout this series, and that is Ridley from the Beautiful Creatures series by Cameron Garcia and Margaret Stohl. You guys have been hearing me talk about this series for a good long while. Don't worry, it's only going to be probably a couple more months for me talking about this series, but Ridley is a character who is bad to the bone, and she knows it, and she uses it to her advantage. And when things do not go her way, she gets in a lot of trouble and ends up in a very, very bad place. And I have to say, though, from the main series of this story, she truly grows a lot, because you still see that she has a lot of love for her cousin Lena and her family, despite the fact that she is inherently evil, being a dark caster. But she redeems herself in a lot of ways, despite the fact she does so much wrong throughout the series, and it's hard for me not to love her, because I know she's such a good person on the inside, but I know that she's done a lot of bad stuff, and she wants to just be who she is and not have to worry about what other people think of her. And I think that is really hard for her, and something that's hard for her to get through, and is one of the main reasons why she does things the way she does. Coming in at number 2 is Nova Artuno from Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I read this last month and I fell in love with it right away because of Nova. Nova is actually one of our perspectives in this story who is a villain, essentially, and a lot of her story is infiltrating the good guys at this tournament thing that they're doing to find new recruits for the essentially what I would consider the gigantic Justice League that there is within this story. And Nova infiltrates them and gains their trust, but starts to realize that things are not as corrupt as they seem, and a lot of what's going on in the world is really, really bad, especially when one of her old friends starts to really cause chaos that threatens to reveal her identity and threatens to ruin everything that goes on with this plan she has. And finally, my most favorite redemption arc of all time is none other than the infamous Mr. Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I know so many people who hate Draco Malfoy with a passion, and I do too, but you cannot deny that he has one of the strongest redemption arcs in this story, because you see the true terror in his face and body and everything in books 6 and 7. You truly see how scared he is of the fact of being a part of the Death Eater group and having to follow Voldemort. He does not want to be in this scenario, and as much of a jerk as he is to Harry, he's still a kid. And so you understand that, and you go through the story understanding that he's a scared little boy that doesn't know what to do. His parents are of no help, and he's being controlled by this madman who's trying to eradicate all of the mudbloods. So there you guys go. Those are my top 4 redemption arcs. Some of them I would totally be able to have conversations on, because I know some of these would be very disagreeable, especially the one about Draco. But I think that, when it comes to redemption arcs, I look for characters who really either find remorse in their actions, or they understand what their actions are and they change themselves because of their actions and things of that nature. And that's kind of why these characters all were really good redemption arcs for me, because I could see their changes throughout these stories and see them wanting to be better people despite the actions that they have already made. And I think that is what is great with redemption arcs and seeing these in characters. And I wish we had more of them. I feel like we're also stoic with our writing of characters, and I just want more redemption arcs. I want more villains to be better. I want more villains to understand that what they're doing is wrong and seeing them start to be good and everything. Like that would be just great. But thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!